6 months on Mounjaro. So what are we thinking, everyone? I can tell you exactly what I'm thinking, because I've been taking Mounjaro now for 6 months, and I'm going to talk to you today about the good, the bad, and everything in between. My name's Mounjaro, and I've been taking Mounjaro now for 6 months, and in that time, I've lost 74 pounds, 5 stone 4 pounds, or 33 kilos on this medically assisted weight loss journey. It's not always been smooth. It's not always been easy. There's been some steep learning curves. There's been a few plateaus. But today I want to take you through the entire journey and give you my 6-month review of taking Mounjaro. So when I started this journey, I was a 22 stone 11 pounds, and my current weight is a 17 stone 6. So as you can see, it's been absolutely fantastic, and I've lost a huge amount of weight. My BMI was 40.1 and is currently 30.9. But as you can see, that still puts me in the obese range. And I have had a few comments on my previous videos with people saying you don't need to lose any more weight. You don't need to lose any more weight. Well, I'm still officially classed as obese. I know BMI is not that on point, but I do need to lose some more weight. My goal weight has been set. And if you've watched a previous video, you'll probably know that anyway. So first things first, why did I start Mounjaro? Now, I've done everything over the years. I've lost loads of weight doing Weight Watchers. I've exercised myself nearly to death. I've starved myself nearly to death. I've done calorie restriction. I've done fasting. I've done Atkins diet back in the day. Seriously, if you name it, I've probably done it, and it's probably worked for a short amount of time. But the issue for me is I never end up being able to consistently carry on with these diets and lose weight and keep the weight off. Now, done a lot of research into Mounjaro before I started. I did say, if you've watched my 3-month video, I did say, I saw a lot of horror stories and then thought, let's just go for it. Now, that also gets a lot of comments as well saying, so you decided it was dangerous but went for it anyway. It's really not what I meant. I researched it, got a little bit scared, did a pros and cons list, spoke to some family members and some friends, but decided I need to do this. And because it's my journey and I get to decide what I do, I decided I was going to do it. Hands up, it probably wasn't the wisest thing to say on that video, but to me it made sense when I said it. Having tried all these different diets and all these calorie restrictions and all this fasting, I had to try something different. I decided I was going to take Mounjaro. So the process for getting Mounjaro in the UK is you go to your GP. There's not a lot of funding for it on the NHS at the moment, so it's unlikely that you're going to get it. I've got a friend who tried to get it. He's 27 stone, I think he was. Couldn't get it, so he's had to go private as well. So you go to your GP. They're more than likely say, no, you can't have it, and then you have to go private. So there's a whole host of companies out there, certainly in the UK, online pharmacists. Now, they're still regulated pharmacists. They're not just Steve down the road selling it for £25 a shot. And believe me, there's plenty of people out there that will do that for you. My advice would be, do not touch those people with a barge pole, because you've no idea what you're getting. From what I've seen, there are a lot of fake shots around, so avoid that at all costs. So you go on your online pharmacy, you fill in a load of forms, your past medical history, and you have to upload a photo of yourself as well. Now, I'm going to show you the photo that I sent off to the company I used for my first shots, and that company was called MedExpress, and that's the photo I sent. Now, I've still got that t-shirt, and I quite often on my videos put a before and after wearing that t-shirt, and the difference is absolutely outstanding. You hand over a big wad of cash. I think my first shot was £129 in the UK, and that got me a 2.5 milligram Mounjaro pen, which would give me 4 injections. Once you take the plunge, you're in. But for me, I was a little bit scared still. So my injection stayed in the fridge for a couple of weeks before I was brave enough to take it. So I jabbed it in my belly. Eventually, big brave boy, stuck it in my belly and waited for the magic to happen. And for me, that magic happened really, really quick. Took the injection, had a slight headache, and the next day I had no food noise, barely ate my lunch, didn't really want anything for dinner, and we are all systems go on our Mounjaro journey. And believe me, it was like a rocket taking off. So that's how I started and why I started, because I think it's really important that people understand how quick this can work if you're a fast responder, as I am, and two, it's quite a big undertaking. It's not something you just want to say, oh, Manda's Mounjaro's lost 74 pounds, I need this. Have a look, do some research, watch some videos, speak to your medical professionals, and I am not a medical professional, can't stress that enough. Make some informed choices, make some informed decisions before you take the plunge. Also bearing in mind that there can be some huge side effects to taking this medication, and I will go into that a little bit later in the video. But yeah, talk to people, ask questions, decide if it's for you. If you're going to take the plunge, there's a few things you need to be wary of, and one is the ongoing cost. I now get what size pen am I on? A 5 milligram pen? No, 7.5 milligram pen. And my last pen, I paid £163 for that. If you total up the cost for the last 6 months, you're talking a lot of money. So you don't want to go into it thinking, well, I can just about afford a pen this month. I'm probably not going to be able to afford one next month. It's ongoing, it's long term, it's not a 2-minute quick fix. It's something you need to commit to. And I don't just mean financially, you need to commit to it health-wise, food-wise, exercise-wise. You need to commit 100% and change how you think, change how you eat. This medicine is absolutely amazing, and it really is a game changer for me and thousands of other people. But it is only a tool, and part of that suite of tools is going to the gym, eating protein, raising your hydration intake. It's just not as simple as, right, stick the jab in, pass me a pizza. You're not going to lose weight doing that. You need to 100% get on board on this journey and commit to it, and the results will happen for you. So shall we talk about the results so far in my 6 months? Now, I'm not just talking about the numbers, the figures, that kind of thing. I'm talking about the health benefits, how you feel, your energy levels and that kind of stuff. The numbers kind of speak for themselves. They are pretty good for 6 months, and I know that, and I think probably anyone that's watched any of my videos are aware that it has gone really well. But there are plenty of other benefits along the way for taking this medication. I'm talking energy levels, even going upstairs or taking the dog for a walk. Being 5 stone lighter makes a huge difference. I occasionally used to wake up with my hip used to be really sore, and I think it's from all the cycling I used to do. I don't get that anymore. I've got less weight on my hips, less weight on my knees, less weight on my ankles. It just makes you feel completely different. Sleeping is amazing. It's so much easier to get comfortable in bed now. You're not overheating all the time. You've not got your big belly wobbling around. That leads to better energy levels as well, doesn't it? But it's as how you feel as a person. It's really important. You feel more confident. You can wear nicer clothes. There's so many different aspects to losing weight. And it's one of the biggest changes for me is how I feel as a person, how I feel confident as a person. I can do stuff now that I never dreamt I'd be able to do before. And I'm not just talking about being able to walk further or maybe run further or ride further. I'm talking about the things that I could never do before, like I couldn't eat half a pizza. I had to eat a whole pizza. I couldn't go to a buffet and not make a greedy pig of myself. And these are all the different mindset changes. And believe me, until you've tried this medication, you really won't understand how it feels to have that food noise turned off, to have that appetite suppression that you wouldn't normally have experienced, and maybe not even experience this in your entire life. But the side to me of not being greedy blows my mind, because I've always been greedy, and I've always tried to deny I was greedy. I was just hungry, but no, I was greedy, and I would eat and eat and eat until I felt so full, and then I'd go, that's better. But it wasn't better, because it'd make me feel like absolute dog poo. It would make me feel sleepy. It was probably affecting my moods as well. So there's so many different aspects to this medication that you don't realise until you start it. And once you've started it, you're fully on board. And then when you look back retrospectively, as I'm doing now, 6 months in, you can see the huge differences, not just physically, but mentally as well. Right, before we go any further, just want to say a quick thank you to everyone that's ever liked, commented, hyped, shared, done any of these kind of things to my videos on my channel. It means the absolute world to me. What started as a way of me documenting my Mounjaro journey has really sort of exploded into something else. And it's always been a really nice way to interact with people who are potentially on the same journey, potentially taking the same journey. I'm able to share everything I've learned in the last 6 months. And I'm still watching other people's videos and learning myself. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do, and like the video, because it does mean the world to me. There are also some affiliate links down below for the Pep GLP-1 app, which is the app I use to track my shots, track my food, track my calories, track my hydration. It's also got a really cool feature where it will remind you to take your injection, and it will also tell you exactly where you are in medication levels within your body. So that's a really cool app. There's also a link, and I'll pop it up there, and that is the Buy Me a Coffee link if anyone fancies buying me a coffee. And again, as I always say, no one ever has to do this, but the option's there should you wish to thank me for my videos. So the next thing I want to talk about is the side effects, and these are the side effects that have affected me. I know there's hundreds and hundreds of different side effects from this medication, but these are purely the ones that have affected me. Now, it's been well documented that this can cause stomach issues, and we're talking diarrhea or constipation. And for me, it was constipation, and it still happens occasionally. Maybe every couple of weeks, I get 2 or 3 days where I have issues. It mostly affected me in the early days. I take psyllium husk now. I make sure my hydration levels are absolutely, smashing the fluids in. So that was the one major side effect that I've had, and it started again since I went up to 5 milligrams. I do get a slight headache on injection day, and sometimes the following day. And since I've gone up to 5 milligrams, I also do get a tiny little bit of nausea, which I've not experienced before, and that's normally the daily injection and the following day too. So in my entire 6-month journey, that is the only side effects I've experienced. Dosage levels. So once again, shout out to the Pep GLP-1 app, which I use for tracking my shots, tracking my dosage levels. Now, when I started this journey, my intention was to stay as low as possible. So in the UK, on Mounjaro, you start at 2.5 milligrams. And that is exactly what I did for the first month. I then was supposed to go up to 5 milligrams, which is the suggested dosage levels from the manufacturers of the drug. I didn't do that. I decided I was going to go 3.75. It is an unauthorized dose, so please don't call the Mounjaro police to get me arrested. But that's what I decided to do, and it really worked for me. So I think I did 4 weeks at 2.5 milligrams and then another 4 months at 3.75. So that gives you an idea of where I was dosage levels, and the fact that I never had to fly up through the doses and still lost a decent amount of weight. Now, about 4 weeks ago, I was on a bit of a plateau. It could have been because I wasn't tracking as well as I normally would. It could have been because I was perhaps eating a little bit more than I should have been. It could have been because I wasn't hydrated enough, but I was on a plateau. I had a lot on. I had a week on holiday. I had a couple of nights working away. I had a couple of nights away at a conference. So I maybe took my eye off the ball, but I went 4 weeks without losing weight. When I got back off the holiday, I decided I was going to go up a dose. I spent a lot of time preaching to people about staying low, Mr. 3.75. I went up to 5 milligrams. And for me, it was like starting the Mounjaro again. The food noise switched off again. Appetite suppression, absolutely spot on. So that's where I'm at now. I'm still on 5 milligram, and I will be for a little while yet. When we're talking about dosage levels, it's always worth noting for me, and I have mentioned this previously, it's a really potent medication. It really works well. For me, I don't ever want it to work too well. I want to feel where I am. I want to feel a little bit of hunger, only a tiny bit, not enough to make me a greedy little boy again, but I need all that stuff in my life to make me feel right, to make me feel normal. I don't want this medication to do all the hard work for me. I quite like it to do a little bit of the hard work. I don't want it to do all the hard work for me. So I like feeling towards the end of the week, when it's starting to wear off a little bit, I quite like the feeling of me knowing that it's wearing off, me knowing that I then need to be a little bit stricter with myself. I then need to take a little bit of self-control, which you don't always have if you fly up the doses and the Mounjaro is doing all the hard work for you. And that's just how I want to feel when I'm taking this medication. And that's my personal choice. Right, so we've talked through the numbers and we'll quickly recap on that. So we're 74 pounds down, 5 stone 4 pound, or 33 kilos down. But what does that look like? So what I want to do is pop a few pictures on the screen now. And one will be the one in my green t-shirt, which is the Med Express. I'll pop that on the screen now. So that's me at 22 stone 11 before I started Mounjaro. The next picture is going to be me currently now in the same green t-shirt. I don't want any smart ass remarks saying which one's before, which one's after. So that's the two pictures that really sort of hit home. And then I'll put a picture of me in my pants, underwear, before I started, and a picture of me now in my pants, stroke underwear. And please ignore the muscly Mr. Muscle pose. And I realise I look like a complete lemon. But I think it's really good at allowing you to visualise where I'm at and the differences this medication has made to me. I would never have been brave enough to do this 6 months ago, but they're on the screen now. Enjoy. So what things would you need to know if you're starting Mounjaro, and what things have been easy, what things have been hard? For me, you've got to track your calories. It's the most important thing you're going to do on this journey. If you're going to take this medication, you're going to spend your hard-earned money, assuming you did earn it and didn't steal it. I do preach a bit about this, if I'm honest, and use one of the apps. I use the Pep GLP-1 app, but there's plenty of other apps out there that you can use to track your calories. Everything that goes in here, just track it. And it does get a little bit tiresome at first, and you'll go, oh, well, I'll have a biscuit. It wouldn't matter. It does matter. You can't take this medication and eat how you used to eat when you were bigger. Let's call it bigger. You need to regulate what goes in your mouth, basically. Now, the drug's going to help you do that. It's going to really tighten things up. It's going to prevent you from overeating. It's hopefully going to prevent you from doing all the things that are naughty and you shouldn't be doing. But track your calories. It's so important. Up your hydration. Make sure you're drinking enough. You need to be looking at, I always aim for about 2 litres a day, and some people say take more. I've got a big Yeti bottle which has got 1.3 litres, and I take that with me everywhere. I've become that person now. So hydration, make sure you're drinking all the time, and that'll also help you when it comes to the poop issues. And protein. You need to be hitting your protein goals, and on these apps it does tell you how much protein you should be eating, and when you log your calories, break down the macros and you can see and make sure you're eating enough protein. If you're going to lose a lot of weight, you're going to lose a lot of muscle. So if you up your protein, hopefully you won't lose as much muscle. It can be up to 25% of the weight you've lost is muscle, and I know that for a fact because I am so weak in the gym now, it is unbelievable. But I'd rather be where I am now than where I was before. Track your calories, track your protein and up your protein, hydration, get those drinks down your throat, and exercise. Just wanted to mention that I do a weekly video every single Saturday, which is my weekly update and my Q&A session. It's been really good and it's really interesting. It really makes me think. It gets the old brain ticking away as well, because when people ask me questions, and as I said previously, I'm not a medical expert, but I've been taking this medication quite a while now. So I quite often struggle with the answers, but I quite often have the answer already. So if you've got a question for my Saturday Q&A, stick it down below in the comments and I will do my best to bumble my way through it on Saturday. And it's a real good way of getting your question out into the community as well. I like to think of us Mounjaro users as a bit of a community. So ask your question. I'll do my best at answering it. It'll appear on Saturday's video. Hopefully people will watch it. And if I don't have that answer, hopefully they will. If it's something you're experiencing while you're on Mounjaro, it could be they've also experienced the same. So what does the future hold for me? 6 months in, 17 stone, 6 pounds. Now, my go weight is 16 stone. So that it's a little bit, it's only recently that I've set a go weight. And it's a little bit tentative as well, because if I carry on losing weight and I get to say 16 stone 7, 16 and a half stone, I'll put that in pounds and I'll put that in kilos. And I feel that I'm not looking healthy, or I'm not looking right, or I'm not feeling right, then I will adjust my go. I'm not going to be totally driven by the numbers, because the numbers say I should be around about 13 stone, and I would look ridiculous at 13 stone. I'm 6'3" tall. I'm quite sort of rugby player build, and I don't want to look ridiculous. Now, so I will adjust my goal as I see fit, as I feel, as I look. But as it stands today, the goal is set at 16 stone. So the future for me is I'm going to carry on taking Mounjaro because I'm not where I need to be. I'm going to take that. I think I've probably got another 2-3 months of Mounjaro usage left. And then hopefully losing 2-3 pounds a week, I will reach my goal and not look ridiculous, but watch this space. I don't think I've learned the habits that I'm supposed to learn on this journey just yet. I'm still learning them. And then I'm going to transition into a maintenance mode. And that scares the living daylights out of me. I feel like this medication is something that I may have to dip in and out of for the rest of my life. I'm 53 years old. I still feel like I've got the potential to be a greedy little boy. They say, take the Mounjaro, learn the habits, stop the Mounjaro, bingo. I don't think that's how it's going to work, and I don't think that's how it's going to work for me. I don't feel that's how it's going to work for the majority of the people that take this medication. I will transition into a maintenance mode sometime after Christmas. I'd imagine it's going to be January. I imagine it's going to be February, actually. And then I think this channel is going to get really interesting because, one, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. 2, my head is buried in the sand. And 3, I'm very much, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it kind of guy. I've had some great advice in the comments and I really do take that on board, but it doesn't answer the question for me of where I need to go or where I should be heading. I've got a few ideas of what I may do, but yeah, it scares the living daylights out of me. So if you stick around, subscribe to the channel, you could potentially see a man who weighs 16 stone balloon in weight and get absolutely massive again. You could see a man who's 16 stone struggling to maintain his weight. You could see a man who absolutely smashes it and says, wow, this is easy. I've learned all these new habits. Going forward, what a guy. Gut feeling that ain't gonna happen, but who knows? And like I said, I do think it's going to be really interesting to see where this can take me. So to summarise, it's an absolutely amazing medication. The 6 months, there's been a few ups and a few downs. Plateaus are really tough to get over. Potentially self-sabotage during those plateaus, not really sure. But if you're taking Mounjaro, let me know where you are. Let me know if you're on month 1, month 2, month 4. Let me know. If you're thinking about starting Mounjaro, ask a question. There's so much information on YouTube where you can find out everything you need to know about this journey. Don't be afraid to ask. If you've got a question for my Saturday Q&A, pop it down below in the comments and I'll add it onto one of Saturday's videos. So every Wednesday I also post a video, and this is normally a hot topic video, or I'll talk about side effects, or I'll talk about the top 7 tips for taking Mounjaro. I'll talk about, I don't know, what I wish I knew before I started Mounjaro, that kind of stuff. And that's out every Wednesday, normally around about lunchtime in the UK. and the Saturday Q&A and weekly update is out normally breakfast time, so you can sit there eating your poached eggs, watching me waffle on for 15-20 minutes and answer all your questions. Like I said, this channel is all about you and me as well. Actually, it's not all about you, it's about me as well, but it's all about information sharing. I share my experiences, I learn off you guys, and together we get lighter, we get fitter, we get healthier, and potentially we live a little bit longer. So if there's any of those naysayers out there who just say eat less, exercise more, it doesn't work like that for people like us, and that's why we're on this medication. We're not lazy people, we just maybe have issues surrounding food. So let's all be kind to each other. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn your bell on, hype, and do all those crazy things that you need to do on YouTube. And if you've got any questions, please ask them.